All right. Oracle Free Dollar OFD. Right. It's got people talking in the DeFi space, and you want the rundown, so let's do it. We got white papers, user guides, the works, and let me tell you, this is not your average stablecoin project. This one's got some twists.
Yeah, what's interesting about OFD is that it's really trying to tackle some real-world problems, especially for the average person.
More transparency.
Transparency is a big one, yeah, definitely. Inclusion, too. And, get this, potentially even making manipulation way harder.
Okay, so break it down for me. It's a decentralized finance protocol, right?
Yep.
On the Binance Smart Chain. But honestly, what does that even mean for someone who doesn't speak crypto?
It's like, imagine your finances, but instead of a bank, it's all run by code. And instead of a board of directors, you've got a whole community calling the shots. That's OFD, basically.
Community-governed currency, that's their tagline, right?
Exactly. Yield-bearing, decentralized, community-governed currency. Each word kind of gives you a piece of the puzzle.
So it's taking what used to be insider info on Wall Street and making it public, so anyone can get involved.
That's the idea. Leveling the playing field. Think of the hoops small businesses have to jump through for a loan. OFD wants to change that, make access to money way easier and fairer.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Because we're throwing out stable coins, tokenized assets. It's a lot.
It's simpler than it sounds. Imagine you've got assets like a house, right? But instead of a paper deed, it's all digital. You can use that digital proof to get OFD, which is pegged to the US dollar.
Okay, that makes sense. But then
Okay.
there's the Oracle Free part. What is that? Some kind of DeFi secret handshake?
Huh. Pretty much. In DeFi, oracles are like these data feeds telling everyone what the prices are. But they can be messed with, right? OFD skips that whole thing. They let the token holders, the community, decide the value of stuff and what the loan terms should be.
Whoa, so instead of some vulnerable system, it's like a giant town hall. Everyone gets a vote.
Exactly. Which, of course, has its good and bad sides. More transparency and control for the people, yeah. But also, more room for arguments, maybe even manipulation if everyone's not careful.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure, especially with everyone trying to get in early.
There's always that pressure in DeFi, right? Like, get in early or miss out.
It's the name of the game, right? Early bird gets the worm, or in this case, maybe a bigger slice of the pie.
And with OFD, that slice is looking pretty sweet to some folks. These materials, they make a big deal about those early rewards, especially for anyone who got their hands on OFDPS early on.
Yeah, the governance token.
Right.
Holding that gives you voting power in that massive town hall we were talking about. And the earlier you got in, the better that OFDPS to OFD ratio was.
Yeah.
Meaning, well, more voting power for you and potentially way bigger returns down the line.
Talk about having a voice, right? But speaking of origins, let's get into OFD's backstory here. This is where things get interesting. It's a fork of another project, Frankencoin. I gotta admit, when I first read that, I was like, okay, is this gonna get spooky?
But it's not like some horror movie, is it?
No, not quite. Think of it like you've got the base of a house, right? Solid foundation. Forking is kind of like taking that and building something new on top of it. You're using existing code, adding your own stuff, creating something hopefully better.
So they took Frankencoin's blueprint, brought it over to the Binance Smart Chain, and then bam, added the whole Oracle free system on top.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. But, and this is important, just because you start with a good foundation doesn't mean you'll end up with a mansion, right? OFD's success, it all comes down to the community they build, how well they develop things, and if they can actually solve real problems. Gotta go beyond the hype.
So it's got to prove itself, like any good sequel or spin-off, whatever you want to call it. Take the good stuff and make it even better.
Exactly. And that brings up a really important point for anyone even thinking about OFD.
It's all about separating the wheat from the chaff, right? When you're digging through all these DeFi projects.
Yeah, totally. And, these materials, they lay it on thick with the promises. Future of finance, hidden gem, all that jazz.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the next big thing. But you got to walk the walk, right?
Exactly. Less talk, more action. Or, in this case, less hype, more user guides.
Right, like, okay, I'm interested, but how do I actually use this thing? How do I get my hands on this OFD stablecoin? How do I actually make my voice heard in this whole decentralized system?
Those are the real questions. How do you participate? What are the actual risks? That's the homework anyone serious about this needs to do.
DYR, right? Do your own research. It's more than just a saying.
It's essential. Don't just skim the flashy stuff. You got to go deeper. Understand the tech, the team, and most importantly, does it actually fit what you're trying to do and what you're comfortable with risk-wise?
Because let's be real, this is still early stage DeFi. We're talking about a whole new financial system on the blockchain. There are going to be risks, right?
Absolutely. And OFD even says that themselves. They're upfront in the user guides about the higher risk, higher reward thing, especially early on.
So yeah, potential for big wins, but also, got to be ready for the bumps along the road.
Exactly, which is why, no matter what, you got to spread your bets. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Only invest what you can handle losing, DeFi 101.
Good advice for, well, just about everything in life, really. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Oracle Free Dollar, one thing's for sure. This project is ambitious, trying to shake things up with its community-driven Oracle Free approach. But just like anything new, anything pushing the boundaries, it's got its own quirks, its own question marks.
It really makes you think, is this the future of finance, this kind of decentralized, transparent system? Or is it just going to be this niche experiment for the crypto crowd?
The million-dollar question, or I guess the million OFD question. Hopefully this deep dive has given you the info and maybe even some new questions to go explore OFD for yourself. Until next time.